Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of TJ Hates Quitters, where we cover the Challenge All-Stars Season 3 over here on Silent Podcast, where we are anything but silent. I am joined again by my alert co-host, my Challenge All-Stars 3 most regular guest. She talked Love Island with us just a couple days ago. She needs no introduction, but I'm introducing you anyway. Josi. Josi, it's been so long since we've gone to speak the challenge, aka 2 days. And how have you been?
I've been good. Excited to talk about this episode specifically because the title was Go Bananas, and there was this hint that bananas might be involved this season throughout the season trailer. So I was just really excited to watch it, and now I'm excited to talk about it with you.
Yes, I don't know if I've laughed as hard as I have in one particular moment than I did at a confessional in this episode. It is one of my top challenge moments ever. So I'm excited to talk about that. I'm excited because I remember you telling me a little piece of information that I cannot wait to talk about on this episode, but we'll get into it. We'll get into it when it's timely. But what's nice about having you back is I do not need to tell the people your challenge history besides the fact that she found it on Google, and we can just jump right into it. So so I went to, I think I told you how I had that brunch or whatever to go to.
Yeah.
So I had to listen to the Melissa podcast so I could remember this saying that I had to say to Jamie. And then I was like, listening to myself isn't miserable. Let me see how the sound sounds on the Love Island one that we just did. Because Katie hosts the internet portion of it when we do things, and I host it when you and I do things. And so I'm listening, and I listened back to the whole you telling me about Google part. So that one's stuck in the brain.
It's fresh in your mind.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Google, for making me fall in love with the challenge. It's all thanks to you.
So we start off this episode with a couple of check-ins with a couple of pairs. First is Mark and Derek. And Mark is like, yeah, I might be playing this game till I'm 60, which he's 50 right now. So I don't know if that's completely preposterous. Also, I don't know if we need Mark around for another 10 years. Are we going to have All-Stars for another 10 years? There's so much forward thinking in that, but I appreciate his Tom Brady-ness in it, where he's no, I can play forever.
I mean, here's the thing. Mark doesn't do a lot for me on the show. I get it. He's the godfather, whatever. Maybe it's because I don't really know, I'm not deep into it. Past Fresh Meat, it's not really anything that I know. And so for me, it's okay, I respect that you have this title, but to me, there's nothing other than the fact that I know that he kind of pushed for All-Stars to happen. Yeah. There's nothing really for me to be oh my God, he's so iconic, king, respect, highs of to me, there's none of that. And so for him, to be I'll be here for another 10 years. I'm okay. To me, he doesn't provide much. Not to say that he's a bad character or anything. It's just that I feel meh. I feel there are people who provide a little bit more, whether it's in the diary room or the actual game dynamics. He can win a couple of challenges, but it's not enough for me personally for him to be here for a tenure. I'm good on that.
Yeah, I think he serves as the voice of reason. But what I kind of like about him in this season especially is that his voice of reason also is backed in gameplay, where it's not just protect your friends because they're your friends, but protect them because, and this is how it can be beneficial to your game. So I get that he's not very interesting. I think he's just well respected and well liked.
Yeah.
There's no one who's fuck Mark Long, you know what I mean? He still is very much involved in the challenge circuit. But yeah, if I'm still podcasting on a Monday night about Challenge All-Stars
In 10
31 in
years?
10 years or whatever it is. Like, someone tell me to get a new hobby, okay?
All
I
right.
I
I
I
might be
can't
here.
be the Mark Long of this, you know?
Now I'm thinking who the Mark Long would be. Thinking. I'll get to it by the end of this episode for sure. I'll figure
Okay.
out who it is. Maybe
Um,
Isaiah, probably.
maybe we, like, draft not draft, but we, like, assign challenge all-stars to silent podcasters. That can be, like, an
That is so
off-season podcast.
fun. I would love that. Oh my
Start
god.
thinking now.
Now I'm
We
thinking
got 3
who am
seasons.
I? I'm like, okay, well, that's a podcast for another time.
Yeah, I actually don't know who I would be either. I would have to really think about it. So
Hmm.
they Derek says that they're having a magical season, and I know I've said this before where I really think that these two are a pivotal part of why we are 3 seasons into this, why it's so successful. So I like for them they are getting to go so far into this game together. Like, it
Mhm.
might not be the most interesting. I do think that Derek tries to bring um as much excitement as he can in terms of just like his reaction and whatever he does. Like, I do think he tries, but I'm at least happy for them that I think when these two were really behind putting together the All-Star season 1, that their dream is like the two of them to get to a final and run it together. So, I'm at least, you know what? Good on you guys. Way to go.
After 3 seasons, here you go. The
Well,
final you
Mark
want.
yeah, Mark didn't do season 2. I don't know why.
Mm,
But Derek's done all
oh,
3. I think
okay.
Derek was a somewhat early boot in season 2 though, if I remember correctly. Oh yeah, cuz he lost to Brad pretty early on. They
That
got put
was
against each other.
that's what he was referencing when he was talking about Nehemiah, right? Or
Yeah,
like
so
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nehemiah didn't necessarily play a part in, or like he didn't necessarily like put Derek in against Brad, but there was definitely like because of the King's Palace
Mhm.
alliance that like it definitely influenced it.
Yeah.
These two also imply that they think that there's only one more elimination and then the final, and like, not to fast forward to the preview, but let's fast forward to the preview. This week's the final, so they're not wrong. Like, we're getting close to the end of this here, which means at least one of them is going to be making the final, maybe
Mhm.
both.
Yeah.
Next, we get Nehemiah and Naya. Um, we really see Naya just like down and out now that Jordan's gone. And Naya says that like she needs someone to be motivated for to be successful in these challenges, which what do you think of her saying that?
Okay, so I love her. I said it preseason. I would she would be someone I would root for sure. I think you know, and so the Jordan elimination, first of all, so heartbreaking to me. Like past his long dialogue, but
Mhm.
his elimination was so sad because I knew that he they were each other's support system,
Mhm.
and so I understand the loss. And I think John A said it perfectly where she was like, I totally get it, girl, but you have to like kind of fight for yourself type thing.
Yeah.
And if you I feel like maybe this season she was doing it with Jordan slash for him and not for herself, with the like having Jordan by her side in this situation.
Mhm.
And so for her to like kind of put all of her eggs in Jordan's basket, I mean, I don't know what the trauma is like, but like she hasn't been on MTV since. And she did one season, I think, maybe two. I think it
I
was
think it
one
was
season.
I think it was 2.
Yeah, but she could have lasted a long time. Like she made a
Mhm.
final with Leroy, or like they before the final, one of the two. Like she could have been a staple somewhat, and she left. So I don't know why exactly she left. If she just needed to figure things out for herself.
No, it's because
But
she got kicked off. It's when she assaulted
oh,
Jordan. That was when she was partners with
I thought that was
Leroy.
real. Why did I think that was real world?
They
Did
had their
play
own
on real
shit.
world?
They had their own shit on their season of The Real World, but I think she punched him in the dick on the season that she was partners with Leroy, and it was like they had made the final, but it was before the final. And so
Oh,
Teresa had just
yes.
been like the previous boot. And so they brought Teresa in to be
Mhm.
Leroy's partner. But I mean, there's a good chance that if it's Naya instead of Teresa, not that Teresa is a bad competitor by any means, but like those two had kind of built up um like a rapport and everything, and it's hard to just bring in a new partner to come work with you. Like there's a chance that Leroy would have gotten his W that season, but no, that like that's why she didn't come back was because of assault. So,
Okay.
um
I that definitely blanked my mind, but all that to say is that I think she this season was coming in with Jordan and for Jordan, and so she wasn't coming in there on her own, and so
mhm.
for her to be now on her own, I think she probably would have thought if one of the two of them was gonna leave, it would be her,
Hey,
and he would have been
sorry.
good. No, 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 you're
You
good.
you keep talking, I'm yelling at Nitro.
Yeah, so I think that's why coming into the conversation she was having with Nehemiah, I think I had a lot more sympathy or empathy for her than like a lot of people I saw on Twitter. Like I saw a lot of people on Twitter like dog her. Like, how are you? Da, 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 like, why are you feeling this? But I get it. I just wish she had a little bit more trust or confidence within herself to stand on her own. I think if she ever does come back, she'll be able to do so. But I think for this first time, I don't fault her, but I wish she had a little bit more oomph and like courage to do it because I think that she could do it. But like anyone and everyone can believe in her, but if she doesn't believe in herself, then it's not going to get do her any good, right? So
Yeah,
that's that's my feelings on that.
I don't think she'll ever win the challenge if her approach is what she's doing now, which is like, I need to do it for somebody else more than myself, where it's like, no, you need to do it for you. You can't put other people before you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I don't think that she'll ever win one of these if that's her mindset on it, quite frankly.
No, for sure. I think she needs if she's coming back if she does come back, it needs to be for herself. And I think on Twitter I saw her be a little bit like self-reflective. Like I don't remember what exactly the tweet was, but I think she has it in her. She just needs to like build herself up or like build that confidence up. Kind of have that like Jordan attitude on things.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's a good thing because that's like her, I don't know, her friend. That's what I'm gonna categorize their relationship because
Yeah.
we don't actually know. But like she needs to take some tips from her friend and get into her back because her elimination win is quite impressive. Like she was talking shit on the timeline, and I was like, "Yes, bestie,
Mhm.
own it, take it. Like that's your win." I would go even crazier on Twitter, totally. So I just wish that's the confidence we saw throughout the rest of the season, which I don't think will happen.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll happen this season. If she comes back, then maybe having like time to see it on TV and reflect and
Mhm.
realize like
Mhm.
I think there's probably a lot of just like trepidation about coming back in general because of how she left
Yeah.
and not being on for so long and how would other people perceive her and everything. And so hopefully if we get Naya 2.0 on All Stars that we get a bit more self-confident Naya because obviously like she has a lot of the physical tools to be a good challenger or a great challenger. I do think that she needs to up her social game a bit because she really didn't have relations outside of Jordan and we're seeing her connect with
Mhm.
Nehemiah a bit, but really like you can see how being in something like the treehouse can be beneficial to your game and just having allies. So I'm hoping that she sees this, and if she comes back, we get uh, a bit of a stronger player on Naya because she's definitely capable of it. It's just a matter of like, does she think she can be capable of it?
Also, I just want to give a big shout out to Nehemiah. I thought it was so sweet that he spoke to her
Hmm.
and they had that little moment. I think that's probably one of my favorite moments of the season. It's so small, but in retrospect, just that support when she needed it, like he didn't have to. Um, but he did. And I think that was a very cute moment and a part of the big intro of the show that I really appreciated.
Yeah, I think that that just shows like what we hear about Nehemiah in his real life, how he's the support system for so many people in his family, how outside of himself, that like how he showed that same care for Naya. It was very nice, and just really like pumping her up and letting her know that like you have to want this on your own. You need to give it your all for yourself, not for anyone else. And um so yeah, that was definitely like a nice conversation, and I'm glad we got to see parts of it.
Hmm.
Next thing we do is go to the daily challenge. It's called Flight Pattern. And
Oh
the
god.
premise of this is we get one man, one woman up in the helicopter at a time. And what happens is they stand on like the edge of the helicopter, and they're leaned out on I would say probably like a 30 to 40-degree angle, so that they're able to um look at this puzzle that is floating in the water. So then once they feel like they've memorized the puzzle, they can release themselves. They fall
Mhm.
from the helicopter into the water. They have to swim to their platform, put the puzzle together, and then whoever does it in the shortest amount of time and getting the most pieces of this 9-piece puzzle correct is the winner. Good explanation. Does it make sense if you were not to have watched this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So before we get into it,
Yes.
we have to pour one out for a lost homie. So we lose Veronica. Is the last time you did this? If you're not watching the video, Josie, one time when we were pouring one out for a different lost homie, she did this with what she thought was an empty water bottle, and it wasn't. So that was a scene. But
That's
she
why
went to
I
just
grabbed this and I did not like I did it like half because I was like, I'm
yeah.
not you never know. You never know with Perrier sparkling water.
Hmm.
You never know.
History is doomed to repeat itself. So
At some point. So be very careful.
So if you recall, Veronica, like while she was being slow-moed by a drone going down the stairs with Derek after they were the authority for the last challenge, she like missed a step or two. She told Kayla it was because she was so excited to get to the pizza, which like, girl, same. I get that. And she said that she like rolled her ankle. At least that's like what it seemed like at first, but then all the challengers are lined up, and TJ goes, we have to talk to Veronica, like, you got hurt, you broke your toe, you are medically unable to continue playing in the game. So we lose Veronica blames TJ because one of her trivia questions was, what type of doctor do you go see if like you need to see a foot specialist? And that's a podiatrist.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
she had to end up going to one because she broke her toe. So she blames TJ for the
The
bad
bad
juju.
juju.
And you know what? That's fine. I accept that blaming of TJ. Absolutely.
here's the
Absolutely.
here's the thing. I think it's so frustrating this season that 4 women had to leave. So far. I don't even know
Yeah.
about the rest. 4 women so far have had to leave due to like injury or circumstances that they
Mhm.
like couldn't control. And I think that's such a shame because like these 4 women, I think were impacting the game in one shape or another. Veronica being one of them, like treehouse,
Mhm.
and then like Tina obviously was like kind of always an elimination. She had the most stars, like she was kind of in it all in that sense. And then Melinda, she was on the other side with
Mhm.
Kellyanne, and then Gemma is like I don't know, like she kind of like always not. Ooh, I called her Gemma. I meant to say Jemmy.
Yeah.
God, I was thinking Love Island. Sorry, but Demi also is like Demi also left, and Demi's kind of always a presence. I think
Mhm.
she has like really good social relationships, and I find her kind of like her gameplay is always interesting to me because I never know where it's going.
Mhm.
And so yeah, just to see those 4 women go, so frustrating. I feel like they could have impacted the season in a different way. Not saying a better way or a worse way, but they definitely like this season wouldn't be what it is now if it wasn't for their departures.
Yeah. I mean, especially just I'm not big on Jemmy's gameplay necessarily. I just feel like Jemmy is never going to win a
Oh,
chat. Like she
well.
doesn't have like she just to me doesn't have the skills needed to win a final. However, her commentary is always top notch. She's willing to like call people on their shit. So
Mhm.
I'm okay with her being around. Like she holds her own in dailies and stuff, but like she's never to me, if she does, like good on you, Jemmy.
Mhm.
I will eat my words if you end up winning one of these one day. But
It
um
went season 4.
yeah, she does. It's like I'm just gonna have to do a whole podcast apologizing to Jemmy. So yeah, I like we miss out on what she's capable of like doing, especially for the people around her. I think like Jemmy's somewhat a good person to have on your side because she's gonna be
Mhm.
loyal. She will stick up for you if things get tense or whatever. Um, and I think our other big loss was Tina, just in the fact that she's so fucking funny. And
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't do well in the challenges at the beginning, but like in season 2, she was doing well in the dailies. I think she just kind of like stumbled a bit out of the gate, but those 2
Yeah.
especially, I'm sad that we lost early on, and
Mhm.
yeah, you're right, we lost 4 women to things, like injuries and, family matters, so that definitely sucks, and TJ said that as well after Veronica left, he was just like, "Well, that sucked." Now, I have a question for you.
I'm ready.
We find out that Veronica's star is up for grabs here. What do you think of this?
Here's the thing. I think if you haven't earned them, you don't get anyone's stars. Like you shouldn't get it. And I think early on the season, someone else got like Tina stars or something. I don't know. Something happened where someone got someone else's stars and didn't earn it. And to
Mhm.
me, it's like, what's the whole point of like
Oh, it was
about earning your stars?
I think it was Melinda because, like, she was called in or she was in elimination, and then she
Yeah.
called someone down. I think Tina got Melinda stars because Melinda, like, was like, "I'm not competing."
Yes, yes, yes. Like to me, what's the point of earning? Like to me, it's like earning your stripes. I know that's like a buzzword for challengers, but
Mhm,
it's like that's the whole premise of it. And now that you're just giving stars to people out of circumstance, to me feels a little bit like rigging. The whole point
mhm,
of it is to go into elimination and get your stars, secure your bag. And that's a
mhm,
big thing that we see, especially in this episode, about talking about getting other people's stars. And so, to me, for you to just give it willy nilly, like I get it, the people are struggling, but it's not fair. It's not fair. It's that's not you set up these rules in this game and now you're changing them as you go. But what was the point?
mhm.
Like what was the
Yeah,
point?
that's my other thing is, like, okay, then why wasn't Jemmy's star up for grabs in, like, that
Mhm.
elimination? Or so Jemmy, Veronica, Melinda, and then what happened with Tina's stars? Like, why weren't hers put back into the mix? Like, why is this the only time that this is happening when we've lost 3 other women in different ways? Yes, like Tina got Melinda, so I guess it's the other 2. So that when that happened, I was like, I don't feel great about this one. But this is classic challenge shit where they're like, you know what? Here's this weird little hiccup that really doesn't make sense or like has no fairness to it, but we're gonna do it anyway because we can. We still don't even know what these are for.
What?
I said we still don't even know what these are for.
And that's what's so weird because if it has a big impact on the finale,
Mhm.
if there's a big impact on the finale, it's gonna be so annoying because some
Yeah.
people just got stars randomly and like they didn't. Again, I have nothing against sharing the love, people getting stars, whatever, whatever. Do that, cool. But do it within the context and the rules of your game. Like if you would have said that the next elimination, women's elimination, because it was a women's star, there's 2 stars up for grab. I'm like, and you tell them that way in advance.
Yes.
Cool, that's fine. That's still the premise of the show. It's still the premise of getting into elimination, and it's cool strategy. But now you're just like changing them and like putting them wherever. And so if we get to a finale and it has a big impact, and you just gave one to a daily winner, like to me, it's like, well, like again, it's not fair. I'm not saying the
Mhm.
challenge has ever been fair, but like if that's the principle of like competition show and like being the best, you should be the best within the rules that are set from the beginning. Period.
Yeah. I think that's part of the reason why they don't film in America, and I'm not even joking because, like, there are, laws and regulations about game shows where you can win money because there was
Wow.
this whole, like, scheming system that happened back in whatever decade, right? And so they had to make laws and regulations. So I think, one of the perks for the challenge of not filming in the United States is that they
Yeah.
can manipulate those a little bit. So, no, absolutely. Now, this challenge, it wasn't a fun one to watch. Like, we've seen them fall from 30 feet up in the air off of different platforms. Like, a helicopter to me is no different. If anything, it's easier because you have, like, you aren't being launched. You have time to, like, set your body so you hit the water correctly. They're swimming to the puzzle. Like, there to me, there wasn't a lot of, like, "Oh, this is thrilling. Oh my god," like, I didn't have that. So, I wrote down some things that, like, happened during the challenge. We can run through them. Stop me if there's something you wanna comment on. We had Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something? Do you want me to keep
Yeah,
going?
I think it just touched on the point that we talked about earlier. Like, not earlier today, but like the last episode. Like, trivia is a game. I don't know if this was on air or not, but we
Yeah,
talked
it
about the fact
was.
that
We talked
trivia.
about it on the Love Island
Yeah,
one.
we said that trivia is an interesting game because it's like entertaining for everyone, people who are participating, etc. Whereas this is just like people falling. I honestly think I blanked. Like, I don't think I really remember paying attention to too much on the game.
Mhm,
Like, I remember people saying, "Oh, she's doing great,"
mhm.
and so, but like, I don't think I physically. I don't think I was paying attention to everything happening on my screen like I usually do with like something like trivia.
Yeah. I mean, you really didn't miss out on much. Kellyanne said maybe she should get a job jumping out of helicopters. Kayla said she's bad at memorizing things. Um, Derek kind of gave his own little rundown of the season and how he's kind of impressed himself with being able to do things like puzzles and mazes and trivia, and he's ready to win this season because that's always been his downfall. He's always been a physical player. Um, Wes says he doesn't need the money, he just wants a trophy, which is classic Wes shit. Love that. Something that did happen that I think was worth noting is that Janae ended up like a really, really, really far distance from her platform. Like
Yeah.
she had to swim a lot farther than almost anybody else. And so there's just like noting that, which will affect things in a minute. Then
Mm.
the next, like, the really only, like, dramatic thing that happened, so Naya and Brad are supposed to go up in the helicopter together, and Naya's freaking out. Brad gives her a pep talk, and he's telling her, like, "Listen, you gotta do this for you, like, you don't wanna look back and regret that you didn't do this or think I could have done this," and he really tried to, like, motivate her to do it, and Naya's like, "Okay, let's go," but then when they get up there and they have to actually, like, stand and lean out of this helicopter, Naya didn't do it, so Naya quits.
I think that was really cool of Brad, honestly. Because
Mhm,
here's the thing. You're in game mode. I feel like the guys at this point are like very like intense. I feel like the guys are low-key more intense than the girls at this rate with the
mhm,
numbers that are left. Maybe that's why.
mhm,
And so the guys to me have, I feel like, more to lose than the women in the sense of like the numbers and like going into elimination and whatever. So because I think there's less women than men at this rate, I'm pretty sure. So there's a little bit more of an assurance blanket with the women, I think,
yeah,
if
because
they're
with
doing two
Veronica
people.
being gone, it's 5 and 4 right now.
Yeah. And so if there is another elimination, hypothetically, here's my mindset. If there's another elimination hypothetically, um okay, maybe one girl leaves, but they still need the same amount of girls and guys. So
Mhm,
odds are there's going to be an extra guy who leaves before me.
mhm,
Odds. We don't actually know that 100%, but with the numbers and how everything's dwindled down, it makes sense. So for me, I feel like for Brad to still be in game mode and like talk to her and be like,
mhm.
"Hey, you got this. Like, don't regret it." Like, he didn't have to. He could have easily just tuned her out and done his own thing and
Or
been
he
like,
could have just turned and been
"Get off
like,
the thing." Yeah.
yeah, like, get the fuck together." Like, he could have easily given her, like, an attitude.
And he
Um,
didn't. So I thought that was really
yeah.
cool of him. Like, props to him for doing that.
Yeah, that he was definitely nice in that, and unfortunately didn't work. but it's okay. We appreciate the effort, Brad. Then we get a scene of Nehemiah, and on an earlier podcast, I can't remember who I was talking to because I've brought so many different people on, but I was like, do we think Jordan's purposely throwing challenges? Because everyone who ends up in the authority like ends up being a target. And I think Jordan Ray has a big enough target. Do we think he's like avoiding winning shit? And people, it was kind of mixed. Like one person agreed with me, one person didn't agree. And I don't even know if I agreed with me, but it was just something that I thought of in terms of like
Mm.
Jordan wins. Like that's what Jordan does is Jordan wins. And so it was really weird with like how little he won to me in the daily challenges. But here's Nehemiah, who we knew was like under the radar this season, saying, dude, I've purposely avoided the authority the whole season. Like
Mm.
I knew that once you get in there, you get a target, and I didn't need that. I needed to be low key. So I love that Nehemiah is being strategic in his own way, you know, because and it's a different game. Like, season 2, Nehemiah is the leader of the loudest alliance we've ever had. And I mean like literal loudest, where they're jumping and dancing and singing after their big wins, which again, I loved. I'm not criticizing it. I think like if you're going to be the villain, then villain the fuck out. And that's what Nehemiah did last season. And this season, he's been like a church mouse. Like you don't, he just scurrying around, minding his own business. And so I
Mm.
love that he's like switching his game up to do what's best for him. And clearly it's working. The only person who's had Nehemiah on their radar is Jarek.
Yeah. I Here's the thing. I love that he was smart enough in that way because I feel like a lot of Nehemiah's friends were going early on in the season. And
Yeah.
so, there could be this fear of what if I'm next?
Mhm.
But it's kind of knowing your surroundings and
Mhm.
adapting to what you need and what's needed from you and all that stuff. I think there are a bunch more targets above him at this point. Like, at that rate of the game, like Jordan, Wes, at some point, yes, was in there, whatever. A bunch of these big guys who are taking the forefront. And so why compete against them to be in the forefront to only get sniped than like sitting back and like chilling and kind of letting things pass by you.
Mhm.
And I think he did an excellent job. I think a good player is someone who can adapt and play a different game every single time and make it far. And that
Mhm.
to me just shows that he's a good game player because he knows when to be loud and then when to like be in the background and not talk too much. So props to him again.
It's a small data sample, but the season 1 winner never went into elimination. The season 2 winners never went into elimination.
Hmm.
So why put yourself in a situation where you might have to go into an elimination? And
True.
it's more the people who were in eliminations were because they took a shot at someone and then someone had the opportunity to retaliate back, and or it's just because they were seen as a threat. And so he like lowered his threat level, was quiet, didn't win things, and people noticed him not winning things. Like that came up in authorities too. Like maybe we should put Nehemiah in because he like hasn't been doing well. Or the opposite of like, dude, why are you going after Nehemiah right now when there's bigger threats that we can take out? Like both conversations happened in different authorities, but it's worked for him so far. So I appreciate because someone like Brad, for example, has played the same game for the last however many years he's been on the challenge. However, I do
Yeah.
think he's like finally, and I don't think it was purposefully, I think he accidentally positioned himself well between two power couples of he's on the good side of Mark and Derek, and he's on the good side of Nehemiah and Wes. So like he's protected by both duos that are left. I don't think that's as much purposeful as it is just being around these same dudes for the
Coincidence?
last like 15 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So um yeah, I just like it's given Wes does different shit each season politically,
Agreed.
but like you know what he's gonna do. You know he's gonna like be smart. He's going to weasel his way in and out of things. He's going to be social. He's going to try and get the numbers. Like Wes doesn't necessarily change up what he's doing. He just changes up who he's doing it
Ooh,
with.
yeah,
Yeah. Where Nehemiah is playing an entirely different game than he did last season. And I just
absolutely.
think that is so cool.
Agreed.
So Nehemiah also says before he jumps off the helicopter that he gets to be the Black James Bond again, which was funny to me. And that was our last person to go. Nehemiah was on his own. So we find out that there are two guys who got the puzzle completely correct. It was Mark and Derek, which was, again, Derek coming out here. I mean, given it wasn't so much a puzzle, it was memorizing, but Mark got it done the fastest, so Mark is the men's winner. Mark runs up and gives TJ like a high five and a hug, which I thought was funny. It reminds me of like the people who like run up and hug Jeff Probst when he really doesn't want that to happen. Are you there? Did you freeze? You're still there. Okay.
Sorry, there's a lag. What happened?
I was like, am I frozen? My Wi-Fi thing isn't like on right now.
No, no,
So
no, you're good.
I was just saying how I thought it was funny how Mark ran up and gave TJ a hug and a high five, kind of like when the Survivor people run up on Jeff Probst and do the same thing. But I
The
thought that was
parallels.
funny.
He better get used to. I'm sure Challenge USA, a lot of people running around, giving
Yeah.
flags, all
And then
that.
we had two women get the puzzle completely correct, which was Janae and Kellyanne, except Kellyanne had her puzzle turned 90 degrees because one of the things was the
The
puzzle had to
line.
be set up in orientation with the red line being on top, and she set it up with the red line being on the right. So Kellyanne ends up having no pieces correct. And Janae wins this. And it was funny because when Janae, first of all, had to swim the farthest, and then second, at the end of her heat, her and Wes went at the same time. And Wes yelled over, he's like, how many did you think you got right? And she's like, oh, I got all of them. I know I got all of them. Like, not a single doubt, which I liked out of her.
She's a boss ass bitch. Like she just keeps. She eats. She eats. I get why the girls are scared. I get it. I get it. Give her
Mm-hmm.
respect where respect is due. I don't know. I'm really the treehouse not going after her from the jump is what's really. I get it. Like you don't like Kellyanne for whatever personal weird reason. I don't know. I don't know these women personally. Whatever. But she won last season. Like she'd be doing really good. Like why are we not going after? I don't know. It's really it's a choice. A choice. Choices were made, and odds are at this rate maybe she'll be in the final. So no, she yeah. So I won't jump ahead, but all that to say is that she kind of ate, and
Mm-hmm.
there should have been more. Like she's gonna be in the finale now. Like why are we let her run a second final? Like where was the logic in that? Anyways,
Yeah,
choices were made.
I know she went into elimination twice, but it doesn't seem like she went in enough. I mean, MJ won the previous time and he saw two or three eliminations as well. So, I mean, she also won enough to keep herself safe. That was part of it. She was in the three-person authorities a lot. She's been in at
Yeah.
least two of the individual authorities. Both of them were with Mark, I think, because I think, or no, maybe Mark was with Kayla or Sylvia. Maybe I'm mixing that up. But she's been, I think, in at least two of the individual authorities. Like she's won enough to protect herself, and then while she's been more vulnerable, she's won in elimination. So like
Also, but the
she's,
thing is that sabotages too. I think she only got. Did she even get one?
I don't think she did.
I don't think she did. Like that to me is crazy to me. If you know she's an authority and she's someone who can beast it out, why are we not? That's the whole premise of the show. And that's
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one thing I'm really disappointed in. Like the uses of the sabotages this season, it's not giving. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's so much to do. The whole point of sabotages is to weaken your worst opponent, to throw them into elimination, and then get them out. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like people were doing that. People were giving sabotages to themselves. Cool, I get, keep the peace, whatever. If that works for you, well, like for someone like Brad playing the middle, fine. But when you're on an opposing side, come
Mm-hmm.
on now, come on. Like I don't know, choices were being made again throughout the season. Could have been better.
Well, after the challenge, we have some conversations occurring before the authority meets. The first one is Janae and Naya, and Naya is offering herself up as the person to go into elimination because she didn't jump. And Janae says, like, both Kellyanne and Kayla are terrified of going into elimination right before finals, especially against Naya. And then Naya says to Janae, she's like, quite frankly, I think I am heavily unprepared, and quite frankly, I'm terrified, which is like, that's not the energy we need out of you right now, Naya. I need you to be like, put me in against anyone. Put me in against Wes. Put me in against Mark. Put me in against TJ. I'll fuck them all up.
I really wish part of me was like she was being strategic about it, but I know she's not.
No.
But like in a world where she's being strategic about it, this is a great move because to me it's like the final is right there, right there.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather run against someone who's discouraged and who has no self-confidence in themselves whatsoever than go against someone who's ready to go. Personally,
Right.
I don't really care, but I'm here to win. So I'm taking who I think I can beat every single time. No ands, ifs, buts about it, personally. And so I think if she was being strategic, she's like, I'm really down for the count. Great. But because this is actually how she feels, stand up, girl. Wake up. Like, I just want to shake her via my
Mm-hmm.
screen, my Paramount Plus subscription. I just want to shake her through my computer screen. Wake up. I couldn't. I was so upset. I was like, girl, the final is right there. I get it. You know what? Like, there's a moment to be sad. Okay. I gave you that conversation with Nehemiah, maybe a few 2-3 days. And yes, there might be some circumstances outside of the show that we don't know that she was dealing with personally. I get it. But for me, as someone who was rooting for you, we were rooting for you. Stand up. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's so upsetting to me. I need her to come next season. Girl, listen to me. I don't know if you watch the show. Maybe we'll have to clip this and I'll tweet it at her so she can listen to me. Girl, you're a baddie. You're a beast. These girls are scared. They're shaking in their boots. They don't want to go against you. You have to have this confidence within yourself, and you need to come back next season and get your win because you can. You can and you will. Wake up. Stand up, girl. I can't do this anymore. Please. Please, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. Get it together. Get it together. That's all I have to say on the matter. I'm for closure for now.
And that's Josie on Naya. So next up on your news at 10 is Josie on her newfound love and appreciation for one of my favorites, which she told me because the next conversation is between none other than Nehemiah and Wes. Brad's there for a little bit, but Josie, you told me that, I think I've come around to Wes.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been watching the show for how many years now? It's been a while. You see, here's
Mm-hmm.
the thing. What's really freaking pissed me off about the whole Dave Vaughn thing. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not Dave Vaughn. It wasn't at me. I can move on. I watch this for reality TV. I don't really care. I can move on. But do I look at him a little sideways sometimes? Absolument. But aside from that, it's been seasons ago. I hope that he regrets it. I truly hope he does. He has some black friends. I hope someone spoke to him about it. I hope Leroy, Nehemiah, one of them, just explained to him why that was wrong. Anyways, aside from that, but yes, this season Wes has been providing to me the logic of the show. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
get it. People are so anti him. I get it. They have every reason in the world to be anti Wes. I'm okay. I get it. But like, he's the only one who's making sense this season. And that is surprising to me. Y'all have been doing this for how long? Some of y'all have been doing this before I was born. Come on now. The logic is there. You guys are adults. You have children. I could babysit your children. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. I could be your children. Actually, low key, deep it. Ooh. Anyways, that's besides the point. All that to say is that he's the only one making sense this season, especially with the star conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was really shocked that I would be like rooting for West, but I am. I think Yes really played a part in it, to be honest, though, because
Yeah.
Yes was driving me insane, like insane, up the wall. But he's been providing so far in the season. He's been giving the drama, and he's been when he went up against Yes and he
Mhm.
won. That's when I was like, maybe I'll give you my same card. Maybe. And then he keeps providing throughout the season.
Mhm.
I think his points make sense when people don't listen to them. I'm like, okay, I can get some of it why some of you guys aren't listening because it doesn't benefit your game. But yeah, especially what happened with his phone call. I was like, this is what I like. This is what I
Mhm.
like to see. Keep providing. So, am I fully Team West for this season? Yes. Other seasons, we'll see. But he has my support back, just a little, slightly.
To me, especially what I know about you in terms of who you appreciate on reality TV, like Wes is that. You know what I mean? Like he's strategic, he also brings the drama, he's funny, like his confessionals top notch. I mean, how hilarious was it during trivia when he's like, I'm purposefully going to get the first one wrong, and if it's one that I know, I'm going to wink at you guys. And it's like, or what month has 30 days? And even Mark's like, Wes, what the
That
fuck?
was a
And when
layup.
he turns and just winks at us, like just that is such Wes shit. I also do think though that Wes this season is definitely being more transparent about
Yeah.
his antics with us in the confessionals. Like, yeah, we're still getting like the macho Wes type of shit, and that's always going to be Wes. And I think that's more for him than it is for anybody else. So he pumps himself up. Like he said, like, this is a game. I'm going to come here to win. I'm going to try my hardest. But we're also seeing like how much friendships mean to him. Um, he put himself in over Brad. He was talking to
Mm-hmm.
Nehemiah and Brad, like, I'll
Mm-hmm.
volunteer myself, which I also do think was strategic. But him even saying, like, listen, they're still calling the three of us to come and do these things, and we get to hang out for a few weeks at a time together. Like, that to me is the prize alone. Everything else is a bonus. And so I think we're seeing like the person outside of the game that so many other challengers love, and but we're also being exposed, like he's being a bit more transparent with the audience of, I'm doing this for this reason. Like, yes, there, if there's one constant in me, it's I'm a troll and this is what I'm doing, like
Mm-hmm.
um and I think that that is bringing more people around, and like more people are finally understanding Wes. And I think the other part of it is Wes's gameplay in regular challenges, especially the last few he's been on, have been let's rope in the rookies. There's no rookies here. Everybody knows Wes. Like everybody knows
Mm-hmm.
his game. So he can't do his like, okay, let me get all the youngins in to vote with me, where he has to take a different approach. And I think like that different approach has been good for him this season.
I think the main reason why I here's the thing. Wes, the archetype Wes can play into is people that I've rooted for. Like I don't mind a guy who knows he's a villain. Like I really don't
Mm-hmm.
have an issue with that. Like especially with like Big Brother people, I like it. But I think the reason why is there's always been someone else that I've been rooting for above him. And
Mm-hmm.
it comes to a point where he goes against them.
Yeah.
I can't think of a recent season where I'm like, fuck West. Because I like the Johnny Bananas West moment. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
season that was. War of the Worlds, something. These like
They
newer,
all
like,
blend together.
yeah, like the bunker or whatever.
Yeah.
I liked that. I personally had no qualms with that. But like, I don't think of Wes as that player because that's not who I think people know who Wes is now. And so there's a
Mm-hmm.
shift. Back in the day when people just used to give this man the benefit of the doubt, mm, I don't know if I could really do that. But that's because I was probably rooting for other people and he was just manipulating them or
Mm-hmm.
something. And that's why. And I maybe it's also if he was playing Big Brother, maybe I would like him more or something. Because I feel like Big Brother, you have to talk about your game moves, you have to
Mm-hmm.
explain it to the public. And I admire that sense. Whereas West, sometimes I'm like, what is this guy doing? Like, what is going
Yeah.
on? So maybe that's it. But I think I like West without new like rookies or anything.
Mhm.
I like to see what type of when you go against I don't want to say real competitors, but like people who've been around who have some, some bruises, some marks from the game, who get
Mhm.
it, and you beat those people. that to me is more credible than like you like there's a rookie cast, half of the cast is rookies, and you like manipulate the rest of them and then like make it to the final and then beast it out to the end. Like that's commendable too. But in the challenge, sometimes I don't know. I don't know if that's what I want from the challenge. Maybe Big Brother when you manipulate and turn people and do your dirty work. Maybe I think it's the style of the show. Maybe that doesn't make me like Wes as a character.
Mhm.
Um, because of like I think it's more so focused on competition and like earning your stripes. I think that's why I like CT a lot. CT's like CT's problematic. Don't get it twisted, but I like that he can, put up. Like anytime he
Yeah.
has to say something, I also like that he fights a little. It gets me
Mhm.
like interested. I'm like, yeah, fight, instigate, drink. Old CT at least, old CT. But yeah, I think that's why I like West this season because it doesn't feel like a Big Brother player in a challenge context.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, you bring up a good point. I actually had to like explain to Isaiah and Julia on the preseason podcast for the Big Brother players that are going to be on the Challenge USA that I was like, they kept talking about having a resume. I'm like, guys, like resumes don't matter here. We don't
I'm
give a
sorry.
fuck about your
Wrong
resume.
show.
Yeah.
Wrong show.
And they're like, "What? There's no like jury voting." I was like, "Nah, dog. Like, if you make it to the final, you
Oh, oh, oh!
you better be able to
Stop.
run, and that's it. Like, that's your resume. You gotta got
Stop.
them track legs under you. That's all."
Oh my god, these Survivor and Big Brother players are in for one because they're gonna think social drain management matters. No, these people like, and that's why I think the challenge is so charming. People drink, fight, and then they put up. Like they just go
Mhm.
into elimination and fight. Like that's what we like to see. That's why we like pole wrestles. That's why we
Mhm.
like the when they run into each other and like boom. Like I don't know
The
what
hall brawl. Yeah.
oh bro. That's what we like to see. We're not here for all that
Yeah.
stuff, or else we'll tune in into those shows. That's why I watch the show. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Mhm.
They're in for one because, yeah, that's why I don't think these Big Brother players are winning at all. Like,
Mhm.
I in my bones feel like it's a Survivor winner. It just makes sense. It makes the most sense with what the challenge is. And a lot of Survivor players don't actually care about jury management. A lot of the time they get there and they're like, ooh, I forgot that I have to like
Yeah.
work on these. A lot of the time. Whereas like the challenge, everyone can hate you, but if you secure the bag, you secure the bag. So love that.
I that's what I was explaining to them. I'm like, nah, it doesn't matter. Like if you get there, you have a chance to win. It doesn't matter if everybody hates you or likes you. Like you have a chance. Um, there's shit. There was something you said. Yeah. Okay. So not to make this like a preseason Challenge USA podcast, but real quick, that you said something that I wish that we got to talk about on our preseason podcast, which is I am interested not how players react to this shift in strategy and outcome, I guess, but the fans. Like there are a ton
Mm,
new fans coming into the Challenge USA because there's Survivor players on it,
mhm,
because there's Big
mhm,
Brother players on it, right? When
mhm,
um like when they realize like yeah, there is some strategy, there is some social politicking and sometimes politicking, right? Like that those things exist, but um I feel like there's a chance that people who are expecting like Big Brother and Survivor level gameplay are going to be like heavily
mhm.
disappointed. And so hopefully they just appreciate like big ass dudes running into each other while trying to get balls to the opposite side of a mud pit cuz like that's really what we're here for.
Honestly, I do. There's this like weird theory I have personally that people who like reality TV, like Big Brother, like wrestling. I don't know. I feel like people I follow on Twitter, they'd be
Mhm.
like talking about wrestling sometimes on my timeline, and I'm like, I what? And like they like get into it talking about some people, and I'm like, okay. And I feel like those people who are in that niche pipeline, like Big Brother, the rest like pipeline will enjoy Challenge USA. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm hoping that it goes well because at the end of the day, to actually have the person you want gone, they have to lose. Like
Mhm.
they have to be beaten by someone. And so you can strategize all you want and put someone into elimination every single time. But if they win, then you don't
Mhm.
get your what you wanted. For example, Jay. Like Jay at one point came into elimination every single week and stayed until like literal brain trauma or something
Yeah.
happened to his head.
He got a concussion.
Yeah, yeah, King, by the way. We love Jay here, personally. I don't know if he's problematic. I'll take it back if he is. But
No, I
um,
I have no issues with Jay.
yeah, Jay provides. So to me, it's like I'm so interested to see all this strategizing to put people in, and then these people just not go.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, to
there's
bring
so
it
much
back
more to
to
that.
who we were originally talking about, one of
Wes.
Wes's earliest seasons is like, so Wes has one of the best elimination records of all time. And it's a
Yes.
reason why people now are afraid to go against him, just because everyone knows he has one of the best elimination records of all time. But like a third of those come from one season. And it's the season where I think it was it a fresh meat season? It might have been a fresh meat season. Um, where you don't not every or use your words, Carrie. So the teams that were in the elimination, they were the only four people that went to the elimination. The rest of the players didn't go see it. So they put Wes in, and Wes and his partner won. Next week, Wes goes in again with his partner, wins. So like he got so many wins there, but like he kept being thrown in, thrown in, thrown in because they're like, we've already pissed this guy off. We must like let's keep going
We
at
might
him.
as well until he goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they kept coming back, and like you can't avoid somebody coming back if they win, and that does add, like you say, a different component to the strategy where like you can get that person into the elimination week after week, but if they keep beating people, then like
Yeah. What's the
what are you gonna
point?
do?
Yeah.
So Nehemiah and Wes start talking about that they think they're both up to be put in either by Mark, or more likely they think that Mark is going to put Derek in so that Derek can choose who to go against based off of the elimination that they're going to be doing. And Wes keeps saying like, I'll volunteer myself. I'll volunteer myself. Like I'll go in. Like let me pick someone. Let me get those stars. Nehemiah's like, if he wants to put me in, put me in. I'm not going to try and manipulate this. And he's like, the difference between me and Wes is that Wes always needs to control things, where I'm just going to let this play out. But then we get
Ugh.
peak Wes here, where he's like, listen, if I get those stars, I'm throwing them like turtle shells behind me in that final. I've played Mario Kart my whole life. I know what those banana peels do.
So stupid. The amount of banana references this episode, I literally wanted to like, so many of them. But yeah, I think Nehemiah's comment at this point aged like milk. I don't know we don't know. We don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Right.
But I think there's nothing wrong with taking a little bit of control when the numbers, Nehemiah's strategy worked up until this point when there's 5 guys and one of them is safe and he has an ally he's not putting in. So there's 3 of you. And it's clearly between you and Wes. And while I get that you guys are bros, ha ha ha, whatever, you came here for your own reasoning. You came here for your family. Wes, in particular, has stated that he doesn't need the money. He's good on that. He just wants to win. Nehemiah, you got some things to, pay for. So I would like a little bit more, I don't know, je ne sais quoi, like, what's the word? Not assurance, but like
Confidence.
no, like when you need when you're in a state of emergency and you have to like do something.
Shit.
Like,
I also know the word that you're talking about.
oh god, not
This is a
initiative.
great podcast. We're sitting here trying to think of a word.
Urgency.
Yeah, urgency is a good one. Urgency
Okay, we'll use
works.
urgency, but I'm pretty sure it was another synonym for that word. But I need
Yeah.
a little bit more urgency from you, brother. You're down bad. Like, come on now.
The thing
Like,
is if Nehemiah gets put in, he's not calling in Wes, he's not calling in Brad. His only option is Derek. So for me, I could see why Nehemiah isn't going to make a scene here, because it's like he's not going to betray Wes and Brad. There's no way. Not after like the way that this whole game is gone, and how Wes has been so, I feel like if Wes had been shady towards either him or Brad, then it would have been like, okay, game on at any point in the game. But because I think Wes is like, okay, if Wes is going to play a loyal game, I can't come out here and be Wes 2.0. Like, there's no way that if Nehemiah gets thrown down there that he's putting in anyone besides Derek. Also, because him and Derek have had this like rivalry shit going on. Like, could you
I,
imagine having to explain to Wes or especially Brad, like, yeah, I know I called you in, and I know that me and this dude like basically hate each other, and I know we're best friends, but and then whatever his reasoning is, like, I just can't see Nehemiah doing that.
I think it's more so on the front of like making sure that you don't go in once whoever goes in goes in. So
Yeah.
covering your bases because like again, Derek, if hypothetically Derek goes in, Derek gets to pick whoever you want. I think
Mhm.
and I think Jordan said this best like a few episodes ago. It's better to be the guy who knows from the get they're
Yeah.
going in than like taking someone off guard. I don't want to jump ahead, but some people get taken off guard.
Mhm.
And well, kind of to a degree, but yeah, off guard. And so like when you're off guard, like maybe you can like have that pressure and whatever, but your mind is going a million places at once. Why is this happening? I can't believe blah, blah, blah. Like what could I have done? Like you're thinking of so many things at once, and it's hard to be focused, especially in an elimination where you have to go against someone. So
Mhm.
I think he could have covered his bases. Urgency. Yes, urgency. That's the word I was looking for. We were right. I don't know why it just like clicked to me that that's what I meant, but yes, urgency. So he should have had a little bit more urgency to me, in my opinion, to cover his bases. If he goes in, he goes in. At this rate, you shouldn't be afraid to go in the challenge. That's the whole point of the show. But
Mhm.
who doesn't like to have a nice ride to the final without an
Yeah.
elimination?
That's the thing is like if Wes does end up being the person that gets thrown in, then it's no matter what, Derek's going in this because like Brad's not getting
Mhm.
touched. Wes is going to call in Derek. Nehemiah is going to call in Derek. So it really came down like I don't think that either Wes or Nehemiah went into the arena thinking they're like not ready for it. You know what I mean? Like there's no one to hide
Mm,
behind. It was one or the other. So I don't know, like I think that no matter what, it's such like it's like an in the moment decision, especially because of what's the elimination. Is it going to be super physical? Is it a mental? Like if it's a mental, I think Wes has shown he's probably a little bit better at puzzles than Nehemiah is. So you're probably going against Nehemiah. But like if it's something where I mean, you would think pole wrestling, he would call in Wes based off of their history or whatever. But like there's different things. I don't know. It's just I feel like there's so many variables that no matter what happened in this, like, I don't think anyone's wrong or anyone's right. If anything, I think
mhm.
that like Wes was being the boldest by saying like put me in because he's saying like give me these fucking stars and if I lose then like okay I lose. So at least he was like he wants to be the richest person in the final as he said.
And I respect that.
Yeah. Next we get Brad move over from his one alliance to the other alliance where we have um
Oh
Mark
god.
and Derek talking and Brad said, like, yeah, I know I don't have many stars right now, but like, I'm glad because that would put a target on my back. And Derek says, like, both Wes and Nehemiah will pull him in due to one, Derek has a ton of stars, and two, his history with each of them. Like, I know Derek and Wes are cool outside the game because Wes goes on their podcast pretty regularly.
Mhm.
Nehemiah and him have had beef since All Stars season one. So Derek knows he's going in, which it makes sense for Mark to be like, let me put you in the position of power so you can at least pick who you want to pick.
Mm. It makes sense. I get it. I get
Yeah,
it.
like of course Brad is there, but like no one's touching Brad in this, which really makes it uh Derek is a shoe-in for going in. So I think it does make the most sense. Like, yeah, you want to avoid eliminations and it sucks that like your biggest ally is putting you in, but your biggest ally also knows there's no way you're not going in. So let's at least
Mhm.
allow you to have the option to pull down who you want
Yeah.
to pull down.
Yeah, for sure.
So next we get to your favorite part of the show, which is
Mhm.
Wes is like in the hallway and he's like, yeah, you know, Brad and Nehemiah are both trying to win this by themselves, and like, I don't have anybody to bounce ideas off of. I need to make a phone call. And Wes calls Bananas, Johnny Bananas.
It is I'm sorry. It was so funny to me. Some people may have hated it. I personally enjoyed it. Okay? I mean, I'm gonna let you talk about the call and what was being said. But
Nothing was fucking said is the thing. Like, we didn't get any
yeah, it's
strategy out of it.
rumors.
All we got was Johnny Bananas being like, "Oh, how the tables have turned." And then he's like, "Let me put my thinking cap on." And he puts on a he leans
um,
over and he's wearing a thong, so like ass out. He comes
love
back up and
that.
he's wearing a crown. And then no,
He
we don't hear any other strategy. Bananas basically says like it'd be a bold move, year one to try and make the big moves, but is it worth like potentially not making it to the final because you're volunteering yourself, and like nothing, no real resolution came from it or anything. It was for entertainment, it was for our entertainment, it was
I
for
just
their entertainment.
personally I personally love the conversation just because Wes was like, I think everyone in this house is stupid.
Yes.
I think everyone in this house is stupid to not think about this more. Let me call someone who is not stupid. First of all,
Hmm.
that just now anytime like they are on a show together, like people like they can't like they obviously they'll talk shit about each other, whatever,
Hmm.
like banter. But it's like Wes can't be like, well, I'm smarter than you. No, because you called me up, my guy. Like I would use that always against him. So I think that would provide a lot of funny jokes for the long term. But yes, I liked it. I thought it was comedic. The thong was unexpected and it made me laugh,
Hmm.
and it just made me appreciate their friendship. I feel like you can only enjoy that so much if you just like enjoy Wes and Johnny Bananas like issue like beef
Hmm.
slash friendship and what it's involved to. So
Yeah.
that's how I feel on that. But
N-
yes.
it was definitely funny. Like, I'm not taking anything away from it. I just think it's funny that it was like done under the premise of help me make this decision, and no help was made in that decision. um he I guess like Wes just needed to say it out loud to someone who at least like is outside the game, and Johnny Bananas and all that. But I think he was originally like in the mix to be on this season.
Mm,
And my guess is he didn't do it because if you don't actually remind me to tell you a funny story after the podcast.
I will.
But the if you're not a fan of cast spoilers of the challenge, then skip ahead like 15 seconds. But Johnny Bananas is on this upcoming season of like the regular challenge, so I think that's why he
Yeah.
didn't do this one. But given like there's people that are on, oh, skip ahead further. So there's people that are on this season of All Stars that are on that one. So maybe it's something
Like
different.
just
But
interesting choices. I feel some type of way. We'll talk about it later. But I felt
yeah,
some type
we
of way
can
about favorite cast. Ooh.
we can definitely talk about it later. So um after that we get John A and Kayla talking, and John A says that, or they're like both making fun of Kellyanne, like pretending to do yoga, and that she only does yoga when she's stressed and likely to go into elimination, and that she hasn't done yoga since Kendall had left. But John A gives
Whatever.
a
Like I hated that. Like I'm not a Kellyanne fan by any means necessary, but who cares? Like that's
yeah,
so fucking stupid.
yeah, it was
Like
pretty petty.
whatever. I was so over. I was like, okay, can you guys just strategize? We get it. You hate her. Cool.
So John A tells Kayla, "Listen, Naya has said she'll go in. Kellyanne has said she'll go in," and Kayla's like, "Yeah, I'll go in too. Like, I don't care. I'm here to win, whatever." And so, um, she was like, "Do what you have to do." So all three women have given John A permission to put them into elimination.
I just think it's funny how this entire season, I'm sorry, these girls have been afraid to be in elimination. They have been doing anything they can to avoid elimination. Like you guys can talk all that shit about I'm ready, I can get in, I can hop into it, blah 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 blah. Yeah, no, you've done everything in your power not to. Okay, so now we're just acting like, oh, I've always been ready to go in. You can put me in anytime. Like I'm always ready. Like, no, you're not. Shut up. Like you haven't been. Like you're just saying that to say that. Like
Mhm.
I think the idea of everyone because Naya's like out of it. And so for her, and I don't think the girls are close enough with her to understand that. At least
Mhm.
like yeah, I think those some of those girls like she's out of it. So she's saying it like I want to be taken out. I think these girls are interpreted as oh I can take any of these girls out. So like
Mhm.
let me pick who it is. And so now they're like, oh, I'm scared of her picking. Let me go in because I'm not scared of me. Like I can, that's more in my control.
Yeah, they
Whereas
have the
they're kind of
choice.
flaunt like they don't care if they have a choice or not. They'll go in and like strap their boots in, which is a lie. Like,
Mhm.
come on,
Yeah.
let's not lie. So, at this rate, at this point, credit to whoever, to all of them for wanting to go in, but not really. Like,
Mhm.
it's cool. There's only 3 of them that can, like, there's 3 of them, so there's like, I don't know, maybe like 9 options, 6 options. I don't know.
Come
Don't make me
on.
do
The
math.
math is mathing.
The math is mathing. Slay. So all that to say, like, I was like, whatever, just send someone in. I don't
If you want
care.
to do the math, this is a combination where you have 3 options and you need 2, so it would be a 3 choose 2.
Exponent 2.
Not exponent 2. So there's not a lot of options. I think there's only
It's 9 or
you have
6.
A,
No?
B, and C, so A, B, A, C, and then B, C, so it's 3. No. Yeah, yeah,
No.
yeah. It's just
And
yeah,
each
so
person has 2 different options, and there's 3 of them. So
yeah,
it's
but they
one,
would
2,
but
3,
they would be
4,
the
5, 6.
same. So if
Oh, and then you okay,
because if
okay,
you reverse the order, it's still the same.
okay. I'm thinking each person, chooses. But yes, yes, yes. At the end of the day, it's 3. We can simplify it. Yes.
I only have 2 degrees in this, buddy. Let me flex when I can, okay?
But
Um,
1, 2. I was literally visualizing A, and then like a line to B, and then a line to C, and then I was counting. So yes, 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 yes. 3. You are absolutely correct. Get that degree. Slay.
thank you. I have it. I already have it. It's been
Oh,
done for a
her. Get
while.
that PhD, masters, whatever you're doing. You're doing something.
I
One of
am.
those.
My doctorate is in instructional technology though, not math.
Oh, okay. Slay
So,
still. I
my
love this for you.
undergrad and my master's are math. So, when I'm not talking about reality TV, there are some brains hidden up in this big ass forehead, okay? So,
Oh God.
all right.
Back to the point.
In the authority, let's move on to the authority. So, we've got Mark basically saying, I'm not putting Brad in. Brad's off the table for me. And he really doesn't want to put in Nehemiah. Did you say if you're something, it sounds like you're muted, but maybe not.
Oh, I was just
Never mind, you're
lip
good.
syncing. I was lip syncing Off the Table by Ariana Grande because you said Off the Table. Sorry.
Oh, you can't
Uh,
lip sync when we're doing a video podcast. And I think you're trying to talk and my Wi-Fi's cutting out. Like
oh my
you're
God, I'm
you're taking
sorry.
away one of my advantages of us being on video. Shit. So,
Sorry, I just did not want to sing it out loud, so I was like, my bad. Anyways, back to the authority. No more lip syncing for me. I'm gonna be sashing away for the girls that get
okay,
it.
thank you. So we get Mark saying Wes, and John A's like, I want him to eat his words. He's so confident that he's gonna win. Like, let's put him in and let's make him prove it. But then and she's like, he has such an ego. And Mark's like, well, Derek has an ego too. Like, they both have egos. I've seen them. And so Mark says, like, I want to put Derek in to give him the best chance. And then Janae explains how all 3 girls were like, yeah, put me in, coach. It's fine. To which Mark's response is, they're star chasing. That's all they want is their stars. So
I
we
don't
don't,
think it's stars chasing. I think it's fear, but go off,
yeah,
Kitty.
I think it's but I think it's that Kellyanne and Kayla only want to go against Naya if it's a situation where they think they can beat Naya. And otherwise, they want no piece of her whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So after the authority, we get Janae saying that she picked Kayla. And then in her confessional, and I want to know if you believe this, do you think that she actually wants to give her the best chance to win the stars?
No. I'm sorry. I mean, to each their own. But I personally think Johnny is a little bit more strategic than that. Kayla's the biggest threat at that rate because Naya's confidence is down bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kayla is the biggest threat for her long term. So for her to be like, I want to give her the best chance possible. I think that she has more strategic backbone than not for her to just do the friendship route. Like, this girl wants to win. She wants to be a two-time winner.
Mhm.
So I don't believe it. But I don't know what goes on in the house. I'm giving her a lot of credit in regards to strategy prowess, and that's why I don't believe it. It's not necessarily to say that she's dumb. I think that she's lying because
Mhm.
I like people who I'm a metagamer. Like, I don't mind losing a fast game to win a bigger, more worth, like, a fast ZM game
Yeah.
and build those relationships to then, like, go win a, like, Zoom game or something that has a little bit more value because I've secured someone's loyalty.
Mhm.
So call me crazy, but to me, that feels, I want to give Johnny that credit and be like, she's metagaming. Like, that's what I want. She's saving herself a little bit of um like, she's protecting herself for future challenges where she's like, well, remember, I put you in because I wanted you to have those stars, right?
Mhm.
Like, I feel like that's what I'm hoping from her deep down inside. But that's just me giving her the benefit of the doubt. What do you think?
I think likely that Johnny's the only one that knows just how shaken up Naya is right now and knows that, like, keeping her around would be to her benefit.
Hmm.
So it makes sense for her to put in Kayla or Kellyanne because it's likely that the like one is going to call on the other and neither would go after Naya more out of, like you've said, fear than anything else. So knowing that actually, like, it's kind of like, how, I don't know, I grew up around big dogs, like literal big dogs, and people are
Hmm.
so afraid of them. And it's like, no, you have to realize that, like, this dude is far more afraid of you. He just wants to, like, lay in a corner. Like, my dog now is like that. He's afraid of the fucking world, but he has this big bark. Like, it's kind of just like that's Naya right now. It's just like a big dog that is intimidating people because of their stature, their height, their athleticism, right? All this stuff. But really, like, no, that dog is laying in the corner and is not coming out. Not even for treats, not for peanut butter, nothing. So
She's just damn bad.
yeah, and I think that Janae is really the only one that knows that
Hmm.
as and so, like, yeah, why wouldn't you want to go against her in the final? Like, take your chances against her. Janae's beaten her, and Kayla and Kellyanne have all beaten Naya in final, like, activities in daily challenges throughout the season.
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure Naya's endurance is not good or something. I don't know. I think there was a challenge where you had to, like, run back and forth or something, and she was, like, out. Or
Mhm.
no, maybe it was a paddle boarding,
It was a paddleboard. She couldn't
but
paddleboard
she
for
was
shit.
she was out. But, like, to
Yeah.
me, it's like you have to be, like, adaptable in case,
Mhm.
because I've seen them canoe, kayak, whatever you want, whatever term you want to use to
Yeah.
during a final. So I feel like they would get the edge, and her mental state right now is not good. So I think that also could contribute to her strategy. But I don't know. We don't know. We're giving her
Yeah.
a lot of credit. We're hoping that the credit is deserved, but who knows?
Right. So after that, Mark tells Derek that he put Derek in, and Derek jumps up on his bed and acts like Tarzan on the fucking top bunk. So
Hmm.
Derek is like, why would, or Wes is in the room, and Wes is like, you guys didn't give me what I wanted. Like, this is what I wanted it to go in. You didn't give me what I wanted. And kind of like, I think it's like half real, half fake, like pouts out of the room. And
Yeah.
Derek's like, why would any of us give Weasel West what he wants, which is the power to call the shots? So I thought that was funny. But Wes goes into Kellyanne and is like, it's Kayla. You good with that? Kellyanne says, yep. Wes says to Nehemiah, it's Derek. Time to prepare for war. So they know it's one of the two of them going in.
Hmm. I yeah. Actually, I'm gonna keep that comment until after we
Okay.
talk about that. Well, during the elimination talk.
So we get to the arena and we walk up and see that we have a pole wrestle on our hands. So Wes in a confessional says, Derek and I made pole wrestle famous. Derek
Hmm.
has said in podcasts and interviews that he has wanted a rematch from when they first did, which might have been like 2006, like a long time ago, right? And so here's his
Wasn't free.
chance.
I love that.
I
So
graduated high school in 2006. Uh,
I had just moved to the GTA. I love that for me.
so when I saw it was pole wrestle, I was like, oh shit. I think I think it might be Derek and Wes here. And Derek in a confessional says like he's beat me in, or he's been in a few pole wrestles and he's ready to kick Wes's ass tonight. So the edit even leads us to believe that Derek is going to pick Wes and they're going to, have this round 2 so many years later, right? Well, Kayla gets to choose first, and Kayla picks Kellyanne, and in a confessional, Naya's like, it's good you didn't pick me because I would
I
fucking
would
dog walk
dog walk
you.
you. Where was this caught? My sister's confidence is there. She needs to get into it more. Because when she said that, I said, I know that's right. And I got
Yeah.
ecstatic. And I was like, where was this all of these episodes ago? Girl.
Mm.
But yes, I was here for it. Queen, 8 down. I would have loved to see it though. I would have loved to see it. That would have been entertaining to me.
There's no way Kayla wins that. Absolutely none.
She's getting her ass. Bro, this girl got expelled. You're getting her first where she can do it.
Yeah.
She ate. Like, I just wish I would have loved to see it though. Not because I have anything against Kayla. I really don't. I don't care. But like, I would have just loved to see my girl get another win and feel confident again before a final. That would have served. Anyways.
Unfortunately, we aren't getting that. But what we are getting is Derek choosing next. And he says that he wants this to be easier and more likely for him to make it to a final. So he is choosing Nehemiah. And this is where Nehemiah has one of the best confessionals of all time. And he goes, Derek should be charged with air pollution every time he opens his mouth. I was dying. I had to pause it because I was cracking up. So, Wes is like, Nehemiah, let's go. Fuck him up, fuck up his whole family. Make sure he doesn't have a family to go back to, which Wes then apologized for on Twitter. He's like public. He has like a saying, but it's like public incidents or something that require public apologies. So he apologized on there.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like Wes. I remember because he said some shit when Davon was up there. Oh, it's just bringing me back. Like this man has not learned. Hold on, he has not learned because when he was in when Jenna was in elimination with Davon, he was like, put her snake or stop breathing. Like put your thing around her neck. Da-da. And then Davon dog walked Jenna. Ooh. I'm sorry. She did. And it was a serve. And that's why Davon will always be queen. Hi, Davon. If you ever listen to this, you know I love you.
Josi, keep talking. I need to leave the camera for like 30 seconds. Okay. So,
well, I can keep talking about my love for Davon because that's my girl. Slay. But yeah, I don't know. I think it was very unfortunate that like he said that. What I liked is that he was supporting his friend. I was really here for like, I like when people support their friends and they're loud about it and they're like they go crazy in the stance for it. I'm like that when I like watch it. One thing about me, I may not know sport, but you get me a ticket to go see a sport and I will get into it. I will not learn the rules. You just have to say yes, no, this, that. I'll ask you a few questions and I'll take it from there. I will autopilot that stuff in my mind and I go crazy. So I love seeing that. But it's just unfortunate that once again, Wes has proven that he doesn't think before he speaks sometimes. Because that's the exact same issue we had the first time. And like, I think in a context where like they're probably friends outside of this, it's a little bit different. But like when someone doesn't know you and you don't know them, it's maybe your first season together. That stuff isn't in any context. It's very inappropriate to say those things. But I guess he hasn't learned, and that's making me sad. That's making me reevaluate. I'm glad that I didn't see the tweet. I'm glad he apologized because last time he didn't freaking apologize. So
So maybe it shows that he's growing and learning
right,
that he I mean,
but
I
like to
know
me,
that
it's like,
I
why are you only apologizing to your friends? Yeah.
right. Well, I don't know if Derek is necessarily his friend as much as it is like they get along, but you're right that there's a different relationship between him and Derek than there is him and Davon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anyways, love Davon, Slay, Queen. That's all I have to say.
So I will like recklessly talk shit sometimes. Maybe not to that level.
Oh yeah.
However, when I was like 6 or 7, I was at one of my dad's hockey games, and our neighbor who lived across the street, he was this like jacked dude. He was kind of drunk playing goalie, and he was like, "I'll fuck you up, your mother up, your whole fucking family up." And so like to me, that's just like stuck in my head as like shit talk. So hearing Wes say that, it just kind of like brings me back to going to my dad's like hockey games when
Mm,
I was like 7. So when I saw that well, I saw his apology on Twitter first before I saw what was
the
said.
episode? Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, "Oh, I wonder what he did." And when I saw that, I was like, I mean, I guess it's good that you're apologizing for that and you could see that like someone could take that personally, but I was just like, "Oh, okay, that's just like men hopped up on testosterone again. Here we are." So, um
I think he was just so in it to like for his friend,
yeah, yeah.
but it's like, damn, West.
Yeah, you just gotta choose your words wisely.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm like, it don't. I mean, if he said that, to, like, if he said that to one of my family members about me, like, I would lose my mind. So I get the reservation of being upset. I
Yeah.
would, I too would be very upset. Don't ever mention my mom, my family, nothing, because it's
Oh my
on
gosh.
site. Like it's
Uh,
on site.
I'll fight you, your mother, your whole family.
I'll fight
Yeah.
you. How about that? Like I would lose my mind. So yeah, I hope
So
Derek and him are good. That's whatever.
I can't imagine they wouldn't. I mean, their Challenge Mania, which is the podcast Eric does, they're like leading the cast or season like cast finale party or whatever in Kansas City in like a couple of weeks. So I'm sure they're all fine. Wes is gonna be there. So I mean, given they're probably paying Wes to be there, but I think if it was that bad, Wes wouldn't go just to go, like he doesn't need the money, he's told us.
Mm,
So I'm sure they're fine.
yeah.
I mean, Derek's also said some obnoxious shit throughout the season too. Like, so maybe not to the extent of like fuck him up and like don't leave him with or like don't let him go back to his family or whatever. But like when he beat MJ, he was running around yelling motherfuckers and stuff and like ripping stars off of MJ's shirt and stuff. So I feel like if there's someone who's gonna take that in stride, it's gonna be Derek out of anybody. Not that it makes it okay. I just think that like Derek's not. He's gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, no worries.
Mm-hmm.
So we start off with the men's heat, which I have some thoughts about this, but
Ooh.
um, we get like a kind of like dark confessional from Nehemiah before it. He's like, people think I got Zen to save myself. I really got Zen to save
To
people
save
from
other
me.
people.
Like, oh shit. Like
I kind of
Nehemiah should
like that though.
apologize for that. Shit.
I kind of like that because I was like, ooh, okay,
Mhm.
King, show them what you got. I think here's why I think I liked it that much. It's just because Derek before that was like, I don't know, when you dog people out and be like, you're weak,
Mhm.
I'm picking you for that, then I think gloves off. Like, I'm gonna say whatever I have to say in the confessional to be like, no, because they don't have a platform to like defend themselves
Mhm.
once like someone makes a statement like that. So the confessional is where you can like talk your shit. So I didn't actually hate that line. I was like, oh
Oh, I didn't hate it. I just thought it was like, whoa, that's that's dark.
no, it's because also right after that, it's just juxtaposition of him like fucking him
Yeah.
up. So I'm like, oh, okay, go
He's
ahead.
seen he has seen LT's pole wrestle strategy, which is to just send them home with as few ribs as possible. So,
Yeah, I love me a good full wrestler. I honestly, any other context but this show, not really here for it. This show, yeah, yeah.
mhm.
I'm like, yeah. Get, well, like for example, like when Darrell left and he was hurt, I was like, oh my god, King, oh my god.
Mhm.
But like in this context, I'm like, get into it. Like any other thing, I'm like, no, but like a pole wrestle or a hall brawl, sign me up. Give me the popcorn.
Mhm. So, here's my guess. I don't know anything definitely on this, but this is my guess. I don't
Hmm.
think that there's a women's elimination because all
Mm.
season they've done the women's elimination first.
Oh.
If
Oh.
not all I've almost the majority, if not all of them. I can't think of a time that the men went first.
You would be correct. You would absolutely be correct. And wow, I, you see these details of my head. So
So I think that they didn't
I'm
want
gonna
to
hate how
just
they're gonna start next week. Then, like, I'm just thinking about it now.
Mhm.
Like, they kind of cut it off.
Oh, here's my prediction is what's
Ugh.
gonna happen is they're going to whatever happens in this elimination happens. TJ's like, JK, LOL, no women's elimination, but the final starts now. And they're going to leave and go to the final from the arena. I don't think they'll go home. I think that they're just going to pick it up and go.
Okay.
And I don't know anything. So I'm not saying this with like, because I read something or whatever. This is, if I were to guess what's going to happen in the first 5 to 10 minutes of next week's episode, that's it.
I'm kind of annoyed because I'm thinking about it because I'm like, because here's why. Odds are there's no women's elimination. Like what you said makes perfect sense. And normally, traditionally, numbers should be even for a final.
Mm-hmm.
And so if there was like a double guys elimination, that would have been the breaking point or like the teaser or like the part of the
Yeah.
show. So I do think there's no women's elimination. That being said, that like makes me feel some type of way about the stars. Because what if someone was like, I'm planning to get my stars? The rules of the game. Anyways, but I honestly think the way Nehemiah is going, oh, Derek's ass is out. I'm sorry. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I love it. Because if you're gonna talk shit, you better back it up. Because then you look stupid. Like you said
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff about like saying like you're a layup and then getting beat by the so-called layup. Yeah, embarrassing for you, child. Anyways, I think Nehemiah makes it. I just don't know if there's no women's elimination. I just don't know if it's right
There's
because I don't
absolutely
think they're
no.
prepared mentally to like just go get into it. You know what I mean?
I think they might
Like
have
they're not
actually
wearing.
done that. I feel like there's a recent challenge season I've watched where they were like at the final thing and they're like, just kidding, let's go. It might have even been All Stars too. I could be making that up. But
Hmm.
so I could be wrong.
No. You could be right. I just
But
don't think it'll happen in this case because like
yeah,
John and them are not in uniform.
that
Like
that
they're
that
chilling.
happened in the other one too. They like provide them clothes because they had to like change into whatever.
I
So
feel like they wouldn't do that to All Stars though. All Stars
it might have happened on All Stars too. Okay, how did the final of All Stars
pending.
to the challenge start?
I feel like they're a little old. They wouldn't be here for that. I'm
Yeah, I wasn't.
sorry.
I'm right. I'm right. It was announced that the remaining 4 teams would immediately start the final challenge. It was All Stars too.
Oh. Well, they
That's
wouldn't do that 2 years in a row.
maybe. I mean, we had skulls for like however many years. So
I'm gonna keep my piece on the skulls because I anyways at T waste. Okay. Um if the hot final happens in that moment, oh huh. If the ugh, but the stars. That's what I wanna let's
I
get to the
think
bottom of it.
yeah.
Like quickly. I want it done and out for the count. Tell me what the stars are for immediately. No more. No more. After all the chaos that is, no more stars, first of all. I'm done. Take them out. I don't want them anymore. I
Mhm.
think if you're not going to respect the rules you lay out about the stars, I don't want it. Take it out.
Well,
Take it out.
my guess is that the stars are gonna be advantages in the final.
Mm.
Or, oh my god, what if it's sabotages in the final?
Ooh. Hmm. Oh, Kellyanne's ass getting sabotaged. Ooh. 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 I think Mark is getting sabotaged too. Oh.
Oh, well, yeah, if
Oh.
Derek loses, Mark has no one on his side. It's the 3 of them
Oh.
versus
And my
him.
hypothesis, Derek goes. So Mark is definitely getting like fourth. I'm sorry. I get wow. Wow.
But again, these are all guesses. I don't know anything
Oh,
that
Mark's
like
getting his
I'm
ass
not saying
beat.
anything to then on after the final be like, "Oh, look, I was right. Wink, wink. Just get like no, I genuinely don't. These are all guesses on
Ooh.
my part."
No, because then Kellyanne's also getting fucked up. Like these girls do not like her.
I mean,
They're gonna put ooh,
they might
ooh.
not be sabotages, although I think it would be fun if they were sabotages.
If they are, I know Mark and Kellyanne getting fourth because the majority. Oh, maybe this
Mhm.
is a numbers game. Wow, wow. Do you see the power of the stars? I don't like not knowing what an entity is. It kind of bothers me. So we'll see.
Mhm. I do
Mhm.
hate that we got to be continued on this.
Oh, that was my biggest ick.
Yeah. There was a while where regular challenge seasons just like in the middle of like a natural progression, which was so annoying. Like the best episodes are you start the day, you have the elimination, you have like the night out, you have the voting in of people, and then you have the elimination. And that when we got to be continued, motherfuckers. But yeah, there's no way that there's elimination because the other thing is they're always gonna put the better elimination second. In pole wrestle, there's no way Kayla versus Kellyanne is going to be a better competition than Derek and Nehemiah. You know what I mean? Like there's absolutely no way there's an elimination,
I
a women's
mean,
elimination.
if they start kicking each other in the face, perhaps.
Maybe,
I mean,
but
here's the thing: they've been talking shit about each other all season.
yeah.
I would have been here for it.
I think that like I think it does have a bit of a I want to show that like I'm older, more mature, like thing going for her because she did kicked off one season for some like bullshit violence pushing thing. Was it with Kaylee? Maybe. Um,
Oh, are you talking about Kayla and Melissa? And that
yeah, it
was
was
during
Melissa. It was Melissa because then
yeah, that was a
Cam
great
and
season.
Kaylee became partners.
Great
Um,
season. Just saying.
so yeah, I just don't think that there's a women's elimination, and I think we're gonna head straight into the final because I think next week's episode is the last episode.
Slay. I hate that it's a to be continued though.
Yeah.
Literally, right? There's nothing. This is not a dramatic TV series. You should not be two continuing me unless it's a part one, part two situation. Which
Mhm.
odds are it's not. It's not. You
Yeah.
like you literally the whole last episode should be just the finale. Give it to
Right.
us. That's all we want. Why are we now gonna go back and tune in to a pole wrestle, which we practically the way Nehemiah was like, on there, like it's done. Like we know.
Mhm.
So why are we cutting it? Why are we making it to be continued? Like to me, the only valid reason that there would be a to be continued is if Derek just flips a switch and goes ape shit. Until then, which I don't think it is, personally, the way he was getting handled, um,
Mhm.
waste. Why? It's like three. You could have cut something out. I'm sorry. There was fuller content. You didn't have to do all that. That daily, I couldn't have cared less. So I
Right.
don't know. I just feel like if you're gonna to be like, I just feel like don't to be continued the best and most relevant part of the show. Like at the end
Right.
of the day, we're all here for the eliminations. Okay, that's what
Mhm.
we're all here for. So for you to be continued it is so annoying and frustrating.
I agree. But that's where we're left, and that's where we are, I believe, heading into our last episode next week, which also makes sense timing-wise because then um next week or it'll come out and then does the real challenge
And
start next week? Not the real
I
challenge. The
know.
real challenge is it
Challenge
the week
USA
after?
starts on the 6th.
It's the
It's
6th.
a
I'm just
double
like,
whammy, Big Brother and then
oh, I'm so
USA.
stupid. Do you know I was thinking that today was like Thursday because I normally record this on Thursdays and it's Monday. That's why I'm like, next week? No. So we'll get the last episode Wednesday and then we'll start the Challenge USA the following. Yeah, so it makes sense that that's when it's gonna end.
Oh, I really hope it's gonna deliver, y'all. I really hope.
Me
Challenge
too.
USA. Ooh. I don't have my hopes up. Like I like a lot of the people on the cast, for sure, but I don't have my hopes up. We'll see. We'll see.
Any last words you want to say about our episode from this week?
Ooh, do you know who wins?
Yes.
Oh,
Do you know who wins?
no.
Oh, then who do you think's gonna win? Tell me your male and female winners. Assuming, and we're gonna assume, because you think Nehemiah beats Derek. So I'm
Yes.
going based off of what you've said here. Assuming Nehemiah beats Derek, that it's Nehemiah, Brad, Wes, and Mark as the four men. Assuming that there's no women's elimination, and we've got Naya, Kellyanne, Kayla, and Janae.
You know what? Hmm. For the men, I think I think I would like to see Wes win because all of this built up BS from the get go. Wes this, Wes that. Why'd you take him out? That would be so funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because then he could go there in the DR or tweet, I don't know, the next day or whatever. You guys started talking all that shit about me talking, trying to get me out, and you didn't. Suck. Like, I feel like that would be more enjoyable to me. If not Wes, then Nehemiah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, about Brad. I don't. Ooh, Mark has a good story, though. But I just. Oh.
Pick a
Oh.
winner.
Okay. Oh, that's nothing against Mark, but he's not who I want to see. Ooh, ooh. Okay, I would rather see Mark beat Brad, but I he's the person I care the least for in the same bracket as Brad, but he's on the same team as
Did you
Nehemiah and
just get
Wes.
like a southern
So
accent all of a sudden?
so so my first pick is I would like to see Wes win
Mm-hmm.
on a like our growth this season between me
Mm-hmm.
and Wes, even though he has
Uh-huh.
no idea who I am. For women, I would love to see Nia win, but Nia win, sorry, but she's not in the headspace, so I can't put my eggs in that basket. I think if it sabotages or whatever, Kellyanne can't do a puzzle to save her life. She's my last pick. No, 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 no. So I think it's between Kayla and Janae. And oh, oh, I don't know. Because Kayla's young. But Johnny has already won. So she knows what. Has she been in a final? Has she won? No, she's been in a final. Everyone on this cast has been in a final. Oh, oh, this is a hard one. Oh, this is so hard for me. Okay, I'm gonna say this for the culture. I'm gonna say Johnny because I follow way too many people on Twitter. So if I say that are John A supporters and we're constantly tweeting her gifs, her fan cams on my timeline. So I'll be picking her for the culture. But she's a close. I'm sure it's gonna be like a close between those two. Truly.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like it's gonna be close. Unless, but the sabotage, there's so much happening. Yeah, okay. Conclusion. That was my conclusion. That was my
All right.
conclusion.
So you think it's Wes and John A.
Maybe it's just Weston. Okay, I'm gonna say John A. I'm not betting money. It's for the culture. Case closed. Oh,
All
but
right.
Nehemiah and John A winning would be good too. Okay, anyways. Okay, I've secured my bag. I I support Black women. As a Black woman, I will be rooting for John A. So, oh yes, and to beat the treehouse, the entity. Yes, I like journeys. I like story arcs. John A.
It was a fucking journey getting you to pick a goddamn winner.
It's because I don't want to look back and be like, oh wow, I was so off. That's like my biggest fear.
Dude, I say so much shit on these podcasts, and then it's like, you remember when we were like on the circle, one of the things of, do we think this or this will happen? And you were like, remember when you, I was like, no, I don't remember which one I picked. Like, I was hoping that you would tell me which one I picked because I don't remember. I was watching the episode being like, what did I say would happen here? So no, I like, trust me, you could be entirely wrong and I'll forget. It's not a big deal.
Okay. Well, Valencia, don't hold me against this. Thank you.
All right, well, we are at the end of our episode. We have Josie's potential winner picks. Let's see how those pan out next week. In the meantime, Josie, tell the people what you're doing on the internet these days.
Oh, well, honestly, if I'm not podcasting with Kari, my podcasting, yeah, no, we have just a damn messy. I've been taking a little bit of a break because of school, but we should be getting back to our Love Island coverage. We're also thinking about doing the courtship and selling Sunset Tampa, just a rewatch before the new franchises and seasons of Selling Sunset come out. So keep an eye out for that. Our Twitter page is just so damn messy. And personally, I tweet all the time to a select audience, the people who choose to follow me. So you can absolutely go and be a part of that crew, that audience that follows me at twitter.com/JosianeXNM, JosianeXNM. I also have Instagram. I'm kind of cute. So if you want to give me a follow, give me a like, compliment me in my comments, you can totally feel free to do that too. Yes, and we can always talk about reality TV. And I'll also be podcasting very soon with I don't know about that. Not I don't know about that. Is it I don't know about that?
The Survivor one with Gia?
Yes.
Yes. It's
Okay.
I don't know about that.
Sorry, Gia. I had a little mind fuck. I'm kind of at it. Like I'm mentally not here. I have one brain cell. I don't
She's
know.
mentally babysitting the kids that she left in the living room right now.
And so I will be podcasting with her and Tim soon on a special after Survivor like
Did
postseason
you say
stuff.
Tim?
Yeah, Tim.
Who's Tim?
Tim, the guy who made our intro.
Oh, okay. I know who you're
You
talking
made
about.
me
Sorry.
feel like I did not get the right
No,
person, and I
no,
was
it was
so embarrassed.
trust me, it wasn't that. It was more me like assuming that I just didn't know the person. So
Slay. Okay, so I do have one functioning brain cell, so that's great. So I got that right. So check out that. And if Kari ever has me on for anything, you'll know. You'll probably know before I do. So with that, Kari, where can people follow you, find you? Oh, also my PayPal. Don't forget it. Make the pockets hurt. Let me secure my bag. Anyways, back to you.
all right, if I like randomly mute, it's actually it's gonna happen right now.
Sneeze. Okay, cool.
There we go. I had to sneeze. I felt it coming in the last like minute. So the internet, what am I doing? Well, I'm being active on the internet lately because I'm tweeting a lot about Love Island, so I'm waiting for my just so damn messy invite to talk about all my hot takes. And I'm Instagramming more. I've like put up 3 posts in the last like in June, and more than I put up in the last like year before that. So you can follow me at Instagram, obviously the Venmo and TikTok, KGD26. So follow those. And then for Silent Podcast, where we are anything but silent, we are wrapping up our preseason the Challenge USA coverage tomorrow. We will be talking about The Amazing Race with Sasha and Sabrina, and we'll just have some overall challenge conversation. So that should be good. If you've missed it, I don't know why, but you missed our other 3 preseason episodes, which were Love Island with Josi. We did Big Brother with Julia and Isaiah, and we did Survivor with Gia and Josh Kettles. So there's a lot of preseason coverage for you. We broke it down by shows. We like kind of connect some dots. If you are a challenge fan, you should definitely listen to the one that Josie and I did because we talked a lot of like big picture challenge stuff and comparing what this might be to what we know to All Stars. Like it was a really cool conversation. So definitely check that out. We're still promoting hard our Stop Being Polite, which is Katie and I talking about the real world Homecoming New Orleans, and we had an interview with Melissa Beck, which was so fun. And I met Jamie this weekend, and he has agreed to come on, so you might get one more show where we talk to Jamie. He was really cool, so it's not dead yet. But Katie and I are also doing a weekly podcast called The Cool Water Show, which is where we cover everything Real Housewives, so check that out. As of July 6th, we will get into regular season coverage of the Challenge USA. I will be here holding that down. And in July, I am starting my special project that I'm super excited to do. But in the meantime, I'm still just going to keep promoting it like I have been for the last month just because June was so busy. But anyway, that's it. That's all I'm doing on the internet. That's everything. So, yes, Valencia. I did meet Jamie. He was super cool. I have a picture up. I did do it. I have a picture up on my Instagram, and I had him record a video for Melissa and Katie. So I'll remind me to send it to you. So, but that is everything. So again, thank you. Oh, it's not everything. I gotta do the end stuff. You need to follow, like, all that shit.
Like it's a chore.
It kind of
Follow us on
is.
Silent Podcast.
If I have to say it, you better do it. So follow us Twitch, YouTube, search Silent Podcasts, and you're able to follow along live, contribute in the chat. We love having that happen. Follow us on Twitter, silent_podcast. And then if you are listening to us in podcast form, then if it's on Apple, Spotify, whatever, make sure that you are subscribing, giving us 5 stars. If this wasn't a 5-star episode for you, which I don't know why it wasn't, but if it wasn't, wait till you hear a 5-star one and then rate us because that helps us become super popular and shit. So until next time, which for me is tomorrow, and for Josie and I, the near future. Thanks for
Whenever
listening.
she calls me up.
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, want to do this? And she's like, okay, see you then. That's why we love her. That's why we love her. So, thanks for listening. Have a good night, day, tomorrow, week, evening, month, whatever the time frame is you want to have a good one of. We support it. So, see you later. Bye.